This happened a couple of months ago. I'm a 17-year-old female. I was house sitting for my parents as they had gone away for 2 weeks, and so I thought I'd have my boyfriend stop over to keep me company. My house is an old converted farmhouse out in the sticks with no neighbours or main roads around. Very secluded and peaceful. Anyway, one night he went out drinking with his friends. He's 18, so legal to drink in the UK. I was just sat in the living room reading a book. Around midnight, I heard a single loud and aggressive knock at the front door. I momentarily panicked, given the lateness and the fact we have no neighbours and nobody ever passes by here. But then I thought maybe it was my boyfriend coming home drunk and had forgotten his key. I didn't have a text from him to say that he was coming home, but like I say, he was drunk. Maybe he forgot. I went to the front door and said, "Hello? Is that you, John?" My boyfriend's name. No answer. So I opened the door a touch and peered out. Nobody there. Weird. I shut the door and locked it again. Maybe I was hearing things, I thought. But 30 minutes later, I heard pounding on the back door. Really hard and angry pounding. It lasted about 3 seconds, then stopped. I was freaking out, obviously, and immediately texted my boyfriend asking him to come home, as I was scared as I heard pounding on the back door, and I think I should maybe ring the police. I was debating ringing the police. I know most wouldn't even need to debate this, but I didn't want all the hassle and stress of ringing the police and stuff. Then I heard the front door open, close, and then silence. Now, the room I was in had a door separating it from the hallway, where the front door is. As you can imagine, I was shaking with fear. Whoever was doing this was now in my house, with just a door between us. Next thing I hear is nails clawing at the door of the room I was in, as if someone were slowly scratching the door, but with force. It was genuinely the stuff of horror movies at this point, and I did the first thing that came to mind, which was scream, and threw the vase at the door. Don't ask me why, I don't know what I was expecting that to do, other than smash to the ground, but hey ho. Then silence. I heard the front door open again and slam shut, and footsteps on the gravel outside the front of my house. I did call the police. They found no signs of forced entry and searched the property inside and out and found nobody. They found muddy footprints in the hallway, which the intruder must have gotten from the back garden, which is very muddy in the winter. The front is all gravel, so no mud there. After they had gone, about 30 minutes later, my boyfriend comes home. The first thing I noticed was he didn't seem drunk at all. He'd been out since 7 PM and it was now like 2 AM, and usually he stinks of alcohol after a night out. He seemed stone cold sober and no alcohol smell. I told him that someone had gotten into the house and I didn't know how, as only he and I have keys. That there was no forced entry, etc. He said, well, did you definitely lock the door after you'd opened it after hearing the knock earlier? This confused me because I hadn't told him about the knock on the front door. I just told him the guy had gotten in and that I'd heard pounding on the back door. So how did he know I'd opened the door? I also noticed that his boots were muddy, which is strange because he got a taxi to go see his friends earlier, and only walked in the front garden to the taxi, which, as I said, there was no mud there. The back garden does, however, and somebody was pounding on the back door earlier. I questioned it, and he just said that he'd gotten the muddy outside the pub, but that's all street there, so I don't see how he could have. And to think of it, I don't recall hearing a taxi pull up when he arrived home. Usually because it's so quiet, you can hear the taxi pull up outside. I don't know if I'm being majorly paranoid here or not, but I think I suspect my boyfriend of being the one behind the incident. We've been together for a year, and he's never shown any weird behaviour like this before, or since. But I have an overwhelming instinct that he was behind what had happened. Only he had a key to get in, and I definitely did lock it. I made sure after hearing a creepy knock that the door was definitely locked after seeing no one outside. I wouldn't have forgotten to lock it. It's been a couple of months since, and I haven't mentioned this to him, or anyone, other than you guys. But what should I do? Should I bring this up? Am I being paranoid? I'm really confused, but my gut instinct is telling me that he was behind this, even though I'd be heartbroken if that were true. It's been a couple of months since, and if it was him, why would he do this? He says he loves me, and acts like he loves me. He comforted me lots that night, and didn't leave me alone again until my parents returned. So I don't understand why he'd want to scare me like that.
I'm new here, and I've really enjoyed reading about other people's personal experiences, which spurred me on to share mine with you. This happened 8 years ago in a previous house we rented. Me, my partner and our son, who was 8 at the time. My son never took to sleeping in his own room, despite us decorating it just how he wanted, and more often than not, when my partner and I would retire to bed, we would find our boy fast asleep in our bed, and I would volunteer to sleep in his bed. There was something not right about that room, and as much as I tried to put it to the back of my mind, it never went away. This particular night, I drifted off into a semi-conscious sleep. Then my eyes flew open to find this dark shadow hovering above me. I couldn't move a single muscle. As hard as I tried to yell, it was impossible. Then I felt something holding both my ankles, and I couldn't hold on to the sheets, and before I knew it, I was being dragged along the floor and out of the room, and what seemed like hours was really a minute or two at the very most. I could feel my legs being pulled up the landing wall, and I somehow let out a scream, and my partner flew out of our bedroom to find me halfway up the wall, feet first, and he said it was like something you'd see in a horror movie. Needless to say, I fell, and at that point, it felt like whatever it was released me once my partner opened the door and saw me like that for a split second. After that encounter, we moved out, and my son finally told us the reason why he didn't like sleeping in his room. Because the black cape thing watched him, and he was scared.
Well, weren't those stories delightful? If you want to hear more from Brothers Jackson videos, then you can follow the link in the description to find his channel. Be sure to subscribe. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.